Hello buddies, welcome to Borderline Games. I'm Gareth and today we're playing Beyond R, Rule Ripper, and last time on Beyond R we had Billiards have a little mini freak out because of how unfair the owner in this game is going. And then we cut off, the last thing we had was the reason for a sudden shift was the sight in front of him on the floor. So is that to do with somebody being killed, or is that to do with the fact that the men's toilet hasn't been used? We can't use the men's toilet? Is that why? Oh, coffee had fallen to the floor. Oh wow. Coffee had fallen to the floor after being pushed by him and had shrunk into a ball. Oh, Coffee. Sorry, I'm so sorry. He quickly rushed to help her. No, stay away. I disagree with what you've said, but what I've done is inexcusable. Are you hurt? The fragile trust he'd built with Coffee had been easily broken into pieces, leaving only glass shards on the ground. She didn't seem to be injured anywhere, but that reaction, it began when I grabbed her. While it made sense that she'd reacted that way, it didn't fit with the Coffee he knew. He'd been rough, sudden, and the shouts didn't help, yet he hadn't used too much force. He hadn't even pressed her shoulders. A harrowing thought was forming in his mind. Don't tell me. You were... At school. That was enough to make him understand her. A victim recognized another. He helped her get up and both sat down. Coffee calmed down faster than expected, or at least she looked calm. I'm sorry. You don't need to say it twice. It's not just because of what I did. I'm sorry for not being able to agree with your plan. Using my rule to win by killing everyone else will be even worse than letting the killer run free. What is your alternative plan then? Get Two's help. If Darts is the 8, he has to know who it is. I'm guessing he'd been planning a way to escape with that person for hours, but if he's been eliminated... If he was allied to 2, that person would be able to send messages too, and yet they haven't. Maybe Darts was betrayed by Rule 2. He didn't want to consider that possibility, but he had to. Only Rule 1 could have eliminated him without an accusal. That's why he knew his identity. I guess. But in that case, 1 could have also gotten rid of 2, or he'll do it soon. That would let us all go outside and look around. Sure, but... though even if we do, there won't be any salvation waiting for us. Probably, but... You need to come to terms with reality. There isn't a happy ending for all of us, and your life is more important than the ones of some strangers. Once again, those words. He couldn't refute them. He didn't consider his life below others nor above them. Nevertheless, it seemed that he had to make a choice. Running away would only let others choose in his place. Maybe the solution was to be objective. My life is important, but only to me. Looking at it objectively, I don't have any special talent and no dream to fulfill. If I get out of here, I'll just simply resume my daily life, unlike anyone else's. The life of a nobody. Replaceable. Just as he had desired for years while in that orphanage, ironically. Stability and normalcy. And he'd already got there. His future was a continuous and seemingly never-ending spiral. From bed to work, from work to bed, buy groceries, watch some TV, maybe go drink beer with co-workers. He had no goals, no dreams, nothing to contribute to the world. Not even a family or friends that would miss him. Only bosses, co-workers, and neighbours. He would keep spiralling, driven by inertia, until he fell in some pit, and then it would end. Perhaps that time had come with the game. What was that? Was he dreaming? No. Oh, he was slapped. He could feel his cheek aching. It had really happened. It doesn't matter if you're special or not, or if you're replaceable, or if your life has a clear path or not. I don't want to talk about this, but maybe it's the only way for you to understand. Talk about what? My life. This child has a promising future, no doubt. Although... Is this from Coffee's point of view? I guess it is. That was the seed. The origin. It happened when I was very young. Barely 4 years old. Might be my first memory. The day where it was discovered that I was special. It's hard for me to talk about it, but... No. I've decided to tell you, so I will. Not because you're my ally, but because what you said really irked me. So listen well. 2 things about me were found out. I was intelligent and autistic. And before you say anything, let me explain. I'm aware that talking about my intelligence sounds narcissistic. I was declared a gifted child, and for some time, I did feel superior to others. Nowadays, though, I see things very differently. On the other hand, was my one fault. That's how the adults seem to look at it. Anyways, I don't need to go into more detail, do I? I'm incapable of hiding it. I'm sure you've all noticed that there's something off about me, though you might have chalked it up to me being unfriendly or eccentric. Back then, seeing the sour expression on my parents' faces, I felt like I'd done something wrong. That sweet feeling of superiority due to my intellect was accompanied by its stronger counterpart, bitter inferiority. You might expect them to balance each other out like milk and coffee. Unfortunately, they were oil and water. Both of them ended up playing against me. That intellect they spoke about wasn't a superpower. It was simply a high-speed learning capability. I was able to talk, walk, and read before most kids, for example. None of my skills and knowledge were born with me. My only talent is being able to learn fast. With time, a fracture was formed between me and my parents. Talks with relatives have reached my ears about how they slowly realised that we couldn't understand each other. I don't want to put the blame on them. I think they did their best, but I think the way they saw me changed when they assigned me that label. Not like I'm any better at understanding others. Moreover, my swift learning made me capable of being quite independent for my age. I needed them less and less as I learned more things by myself, and so they took a hands-off approach. We still live together. There's no hate between us. It's just that our communication kept getting worse. And at the same time, something was happening outside of the house. You already know what I mean. The reason isn't worth reiterating either, right? The good news is that they didn't hurt me too much. Physically, I mean. The teachers prevented it from escalating that far. They were good at stopping or punishing the overt incidents, but they weren't able to catch the many more covert ways of abuse. I can only describe it as psychological erosion. slow, yet constant. All things considered, I was quite resistant. Most of their insults didn't bother me, I just ignored them. That's why it took me so long to notice the damage that was being caused. Its long-term effect. Eventually, I couldn't ignore it any longer. I think it was the loneliness, the lack of friends, the lack of support from my parents. It created a dark void around me, an emptiness. To be fair, I didn't tell them. To this day, I still haven't told them anything. The school did at first, but it didn't lead to anything from either side. I was good at hiding the worst of it. Too good. It's pretty pathetic how effortless it was. There were no visible injuries, so I'm not sure I would have been able to prove it if I tried. The result of all of this is that, at some point, something broke inside of me. A part of me that felt fragile by nature, but that erosion deteriorated it, until there was nothing left. I'm referring to my trust in others, and even my speaking faculties, to some extent. Perhaps even my empathy. I stopped talking. Not completely, but practically. Short replies, often only one word, were as far as I could go for quite some time. Even by my low standards, my parents noticed how bad it had become, and finally asked me if there was something wrong. My response was a simple no, of course. Why are you making that face? Oh, are you wondering why I'm now talking so much, is that it? No? I've no idea then. In part, you say? This is what I'm talking about. I cannot understand you. It's not specifically you, though, it's people in general. Although there's maybe an exception. I've been getting better lately, but there's a long way to go still. Going back to my education as everyone expected. My grades were among the best. They were for years. My solitude made me spend most of my time absorbing everything that I read, like a sponge. They weren't all academic books. Sometimes I read adolescent fiction, sometimes literary classics. All of them engrossed me, making me spend whole days going through pages, lost in a maze of paper. Until I stopped. It was around the time that I noticed the effects of what was happening to me. Everything became boring. Classes, subjects, and to a lesser extent stories. Going to school only brought me more suffering. So naturally I started to skip classes. It began small, then grew to several times a week until I started doing the same for tests. I had no motivation or will to go. The result was obvious. At 16 I became a school dropout, a failure, one more to add to the statistics. I replaced my schooling with nothing really. All teachers were left astounded, disappointed that I threw all my potential away, and my parents didn't understand anything either. But I didn't care. I've no idea what went wrong, but don't worry, we're not mad at you, there's still time to fix this. I know that growing up is tough, but you can overcome this for sure. We're only asking you to put in some effort, please. You can't be wasting your time like this. Are there no dream jobs that you want to go for? Don't give up on your future. This went on for a while until they desisted, once they saw that it wasn't working. They gave up again, though not completely. They just moved the goalposts. If you don't want to study anymore, at least you have to look for work. I opposed it at first, knowing what would happen if I tried. But after months of constant pressure, I gave in. It went exactly as I expected. I couldn't get through any job interview. How could I, barely being able to talk? I never knew what I needed to say, nor had the motivation to learn. Though I understood that I needed to do something with my life, my mind was stuck. That's how the girl prodigy, the gifted child, ended up. Where's the promising future that everyone predicted? Dead. No work, and no studies. You keep crying about your lack of talent, but look at me. Look at me. Wow, okay. Low-key relatable. Sorry. There was nothing else he could say. And yet I still need to get it out. And yet I still need to get out of here. Call me selfish if you want, but now I have a reason for wanting to go back to that life. Huh? As you can see, I can talk now. A bit. I went through a few things, and just as I was starting to see that light, this happens. I won't let anyone snatch that light from me. He wanted to ask while at the same time not wanting to force her to speak about more about her life. There was, however, one doubt that needed answering. Still, until we made our alliance, you barely talked to me, or anyone. That's what confused me before. Ah. I still can't properly interact with strangers. I need some kind of connection first. And our alliance is that something. Don't think we are friends. I guess. Though I do admit that I think I can trust your word. At first I thought you were trying to deceive us. Yeah, I noticed. If you manage to get rid of that stupid idea of escaping the game, we could be good pair. We could be good partners. That's what she was about to say. I just realised. What's happening, huh? Oh, good allies. I'll think about it. She didn't want to say partners. No, I've been thinking for a few hours, but I still can't decide. I'll give you an answer as soon as I can, though. We can't waste any more time. And what will you do if you refuse? There are no other options. I know. I know. I'm running away. Then stop running and accept it. It's not so easy. Do you think it's easy for me? I don't want to kill anybody either. But we don't have to kill anyone directly, just let the game take care of it. I don't see much of a difference. On top of that, wasn't the plan to win without using my rules so 3 of us can survive? To do that, we'd need to vote no matter what. Still, the one doing the killing is the poison, not us. Give me 1 hour. At least 1. The girl sighed, and moments later, nodded. 1 hour. If you decide to refuse my plan, I ask you to at least keep the link up. Of course, no reason to undo it. I won't reveal your number or anything about you either. I'll put my trust in that. Alone again, Bill took out his barman. While not much time remained for the council, and he didn't want to make Coffee wait much longer, he needed to put his feelings somewhere first. He had to consider each of the few remaining options left in what little time remained. A simple yes or no wouldn't suffice. They needed a plan. But no matter how much he tried to think or write, a new obstacle had taken form inside his mind. That face had been burned into his eyes. No matter how many times he apologized, it didn't feel enough. It wasn't solely guilt either. Another feeling was spreading like fire inside of him. Anger burned him. He'd never felt it so intensely, so viscerally. He couldn't recall ever having lost his self-control in such a way before. He'd always been seen as a very calm person, unable to even harm a fly. Everyone that knew him agreed. Simply blaming the game was easy. He would have never hurt Coffee. No way. The owner was at fault. Was that entirely true, though? He thought the same thing about him. He thought the same thing about him. He thought the same thing about him. He couldn't have done that. He couldn't have done that. He would have never done something so violent. They'd left him no choice. Those horrible people were at fault. Just like the owner, they were the violent ones. couldn't the same be said about them? He didn't know their pasts. He didn't even know who the owner was. Even if that game was unforgivable, there had to be a reason for it. Maybe one he could sympathize with. And going beyond that, going beyond that thought, the killer he'd been chasing for hours, the one he'd also felt real hatred for. How could he face Poker if he could apply the same logic to excuse his actions? He had no answer to any of those questions. Bom bom. Is it council time? Is it council time? Yes, council time. Beyonder. Boom. With only a handful of minutes left for the council, the situation was crystal clear. All players were already there, except for one, Darts. There was no sign of him, and no one was willing to point it out. In that unsettling silence, everyone had already accepted his disappearance. Where did that dude run off to? Everyone stared at Poker while he lowered his gaze, perhaps pretending he hadn't noticed. Those words only made their feelings even worse. Anyone know where Dart's at? Haven't seen him for a while. It's him. Everyone had received the message and were aware of that face. No, of that fact. The only one who would act that way would be the only one who didn't know the message existed. Poker was the killer. Really? I don't buy it. Maybe he is. Any doubt left inside Bill's mind quickly vanished. Nobody. He had to bite down his tongue to contain that frustration. He wanted to say it, he wanted to get the truth out of him. Ask him why, get justice for Jin, for Lime, and for Darts. Yet he wasn't able to. As soon as anyone said it, there would be no way back. He still wasn't sure what to do with Poker, or the game, or even himself. The time would come whenever he could think straight. It wasn't merely a lack of planning. He was sure that if he acted at that point, he would fall prey to anger again. Deep down though, the biggest reason to not act was his fear of what he would find on the other side of that horizon. The true face of not just Poker but everyone else, what Cocktail had shown him had already hit hard. For his own well-being, even if he regretted it later, he wanted to keep alive that false peace in the group, the illusion of being united against an unknown threat. He didn't know if the others would do the same, however. Would they keep talking about the murderer in that council, or would they reveal their intentions? Guess not. 6:44. Poker was still acting innocent, but their faces and silence were impossible to ignore for that much longer. Its meaning was evident. Oh, I see. My luck ran out. But as long as I'm still alive, I'll keep going, even if it's a farce. Huh? Wanna play? Let's play. 6:45. So it is Poker? That seems crazy to me. Here we go. My number's 4. Sneaky. I see. Starting off with rule 3. The sooner we get it out the way, the better. And with that, the ones left are... How many numbers are left? He's lying. The amount isn't what matters, only how many of us are left. Am I not going to get an opportunity to say no? Right on, as long as everyone else goes once, We're good. I think that's what it said. Actually, I think there's only one left. You, in fact. Next council's your turn. Darts never did it. Darts never did it. And he doesn't have to anymore, sadly. Even if he shows up now, he'd be too late. What's he saying? What a shame. Am I gonna have to... I'll say I'm 4. Click! 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 It's not clicking. Did it work? Yes. Hit. You're not 4, I'm 4. Enough! Huh. What's with the sudden outburst? Okay, to be fair, I might have gone too far there, considering what's coming to him. We're just being honest, though. I really don't have... I really would have liked to know him better, and that goes for everyone. Especially Jin. While I do share your sorrow, now is not the time to be looking at the past. Our time is running out. Rule 4, you mean? Yeah, just a few hours left.
As things stand, if 4 doesn't kill us, the murderer on the loose will. He's been taking his time with it, but we're 3 down.
Chink.
Don't give me those looks. Am I wrong? That young man is not the type to throw his life away for simply losing track of time. If anyone was to run late to a council, that would be me. Smile.
I believe I speak for everyone when I say that we're well aware that something has happened to him. No one will speak up about his message. Seems like not even Vodka is willing to go any further than hint at it. But it's not like we can keep pretending for much longer, right?
Well, it's not like anyone found him dead, right?
Well, yeah, no other rule is gone from the barman. He's alive and kicking. Who knows where, though?
Oh, true.
In that case, with Rule 4 taken care of, and I guess... What? Rule 4. What do we do? Now that's a question worth talking about. Do we just pray and hope that Rule 1 will take care of it, or what? Personally, I'm not that huge on the idea of relying on a killer to save me. Are any of you?
Do you happen to know the name of number 4? Oh, because without knowing who to accuse, I'd say that's our only choice.
Poker just said that he was 4. If I knew who it was, I'd spill it, trust me. Right, okay. Hang on. I've missed something.
And you'd accuse them too.
I'd rather not kill anyone, but... I've got no problem leaving my life up to luck, trust me. But there's a difference between throwing the dice myself and handing them to something. I'm against accusing anyone. And it stinks in here. As am I.
As I'm not. No point in hiding it. Although I wouldn't do it to save my neck. My life is already forfeit, far as I'm concerned. If I can save any of you with a simple vote, though, I'm all for it. That way, me being here will have meant something. That said, if we don't know who we should be aiming at, it's a foolish errand. Fine. Let's say 4 dies for whatever reason, then what?
Another great question. Even if the options are the same, we either play the game or let Rule 1 play it for us. Hey, Bill. What? Any updates on your end? What happened with saving everyone? You smug. Guess there was no luck finding a hole to escape through, huh? There wasn't. Shocking. We've got our verdict then. You just have to let Rule 1 take care of the dirty work. Sorry, we let Rule 1 take care of the dirty work. Tripped over my words there.
Yeah.
So that's what it all comes down to, huh? Poker put his right hand in his pocket, appearing to grab something resting within it. Uh-oh. What's that? His gaze took a look around the table one more time. So be it. What came out of his pocket was not what Bill had feared. As far as I'm concerned, we can end the council here. Really? I know what you want to tell me. If we let the council end like this, he'll probably start killing us one after the other. Our only option is to kill him first with a vote. Oh. No, there's another one. Just like he said, we can let him decide over our lives. Hand him the dice. Leaving aside his own opinion on whether to kill anyone or not, everyone else's was clear. Were there enough votes for it? Even if there were, what would Poker's response be to being eliminated? Would he accept his loss or would he take revenge on them? Billiard's decision was to... Oh, what do we do? Accusing might be fun. Do nothing. Do nothing. I feel like I've been given a bunch of reasons not to. Maybe I should accuse him. Should we accuse him? See what happens. Huh? Until that moment he hadn't wanted to kill anyone. However, after what had happened, with his heart pulsating faster than ever before, his pulse trembling and his thoughts clouded, he could no longer see the red line that he'd considered taboo to cross. He was fully aware that he wasn't thinking straight, but he felt intoxicated by that madness. And with it he could make a choice that he would never do under normal circumstances. Uh-oh, this doesn't seem like a good thing to do. The truth has come to light. Abandon the stage. Player eliminated. Antidote removed. Beware that the rule will still remain until death. No! Poker screamed at his barman's screen. Then he looked up from it. The look in his eyes had changed. This is the fate of a villain, isn't it? Of a killer. His head turned to look at Cocktail. I didn't vote for you. Don't worry. Now that I'm dead, I'll grant you your wish. What's he gonna do? Poker! Huh.
Bill, no!
Oops. Something bad. Paying no attention to all the alarm bells going off in his mind, Bill threw himself onto Poker, and thus onto the knife in his hands. Seconds ticked by without anyone being able to speak, barely even react, after witnessing what could be deemed a suicide. Blood started pouring out of his mouth, flowing downwards like a river on its way to his stomach and the knife sticking out of it. Poker. His hoarse voice, barely recognisable as his own, caused the roar of the person in front of him. Why? There was no fury, no hatred, only perplexity. The one who had been the villain up to that point let go of his weapon, begging for an explanation from the one who should have been his victim. I thought I'd never have the guts. I accused you. That makes me a killer, so I decided that my second and last victim would be me. Who were you gonna kill? I was just gonna peel an apple. Please, spare coffee. Did you do it to ask me that? No. I wasn't thinking straight when I accused you, and I wasn't now either. It's my punishment. Boom. Bad end. Penance. Okay, so I guess I've got to do nothing. Welcome once more. Alas, you came back here, though thankfully no death lasts forever. For you, the same cannot be said for the unfortunate. The unfortunate rules, however. So what mournful tragedy led to the end of your life this time? Consumed by the guilt caused by committing an act he considered unacceptable, the Rule Billiards decided to jump to his death. How tragic. And ridiculous beyond doubt. Very in character for this rule. Always full of surprises. It could be said that this was his way of taking Rule 1 with him. A double KO. Though Rule Poker's sole contribution was the murder weapon. No, that's not quite right. This is the important bit. Pay close attention. This is the direct consequence of the emotional overload this rule suffers throughout the council, or perhaps the whole game, removing his capacity to think rationally, and thus doing what he would never do under other circumstances. I'm not just talking about voting and ending a rule's life. After all, it wasn't the only vote cast. Perhaps it wasn't even decisive. Who knows? No, I'm referring to his decision of ending his own life, and in such a way, no matter how you look at it, it's suicide. Is there any honor in it? Anything that merits it being called a sacrifice? Is this truly a penitence that redeems him, or is killing a murderer something that doesn't require any punishment in the first place? Moral questions that I don't have the qualifications to answer. Well, I suppose his last words might have saved Rule coffee. That could be seen as the justification for everything. But then, what about everyone else? I do understand why he feels the responsibility to save his partner, his ally, the one he betrayed, with his death. But, oh, does it matter? We'll never know the results, or at least you won't. Or at least you won't. That's how that's supposed to be read. I do know every answer naturally, but sharing them would spoil the fun. I'll give you a couple, however. If you want to avoid this fate, you have to take advantage of this rule's emotional turmoil. Given the circumstances, this tension is unavoidable, so use it as a weapon. Fittingly enough, you must throw away your fears and break the rules, confront the killer face to face and go with the flow. You never know what you might find at the end of the road. Will it be a happy ending or another death? Either way, I'll stay here, attending to your griefs, and while making a toast in honour of a fruitful finale, and the souls of these lost rules, for the Golden Jack, and for our dearest owner. See ya. Cool. Alright, okay, I guess we're gonna jump back into the council and work ourselves to not a bad ending next time on Borderline Games. So thank you so much for watching this episode of Beyond Our Rule Ripper, and I'll see you next time. Have a good evening, take care of yourselves, bye bye, bye 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 bye.